Good morning, kiddos. Wow, that is definitely some crazy hair today. Good morning, kiddos. We are going to be looking at chapter 25 in A Child's History of the World. Let me get to the page. It just slipped. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful week. All right, chapter 25 is titled Fighting Mad. Darius was now angrier than ever and still more determined to whip these stubborn Greeks who dare defy him and his enormous power, and he began to get ready for one more attempt. Do you know what an attempt is? An attempt is a try. One more try. He's going to give it one more try. This time, however, he made up his mind that he would get together such an army and navy that there would be no chance in the world against it. And he made a solemn oath to destroy the Greeks. So for several years he gathered troops and supplies, but something happened, and in spite of his oath, he did not carry out his plan. Why? Why do you think, Lily? Well, he died. But Darius had a son named Xerxes, pronounced as if it began with a Z. This is actually the same Xerxes from the book of Esther. When I was young, there was an alphabet rhyme that began, A is for apple, and it went down to X is for Xerxes, a great Persian king. I learned the rhyme, though I did not know at the time anything about either Xerxes or Persia. Oh, sorry, I have the case of the yawns this morning. Xerxes was just as determined as his father had been that the Greeks must be beaten, so he went on getting ready. Yes.
Percy has something.
Purse.
Like a piece of leaf.
That's okay. He can eat a leaf. What you got, puppy boy? However, the Greeks also were just as determined that they must not be beaten. So they too went on getting ready, for they knew the Persians would sooner or later come back and try again. What is that, Percy?
What?
Why don't you come grab it, Lily? I'm going to put it in the trash.
The green?
Yeah. At this time, there were two chief men in Athens, and each was trying to be leader. One was named Themistocles, and the other Aristides. Themistocles and Aristides. Funny sounds, aren't they? Notice how many Greek names seem to end in the letters ES. Themistocles urged the Athenians to get ready for what he knew was coming, the next war with Persia. Especially did he urge the Athenians to build a fleet of boats, for they had no boats, and the Persians had a great many. Caleb, go lay down, puppy. Percy, go lay down. Puppies are being awfully silly this morning.
Yeah, pretty much.
Aristides, on the other hand, did not believe in Themistocles' scheme to build boats. He thought it a foolish expense and talked against it. Aristides had always been so wise and fair that people called him Aristides the Just.
Percy, no.
Even so, he's trying to get his bone, sweetie. Even so, some people wanted to get rid of him because they thought he was wrong about building a fleet of boats, and Themistocles was right. Even so, there we go. They waited till the time came to vote, when they could ostracize anyone they wanted to get rid of. Do you remember who started this custom? It was Cleisthenes. There's another ES name, Cleisthenes, about 500 BC. Excuse me. When the day came for voting, a man could write a man who could not write and did not know Aristides by sight, happened to ask him to help him in voting. Aristides inquired what name he should write, and the man replied, Aristides. Aristides did not tell him who he was, but merely said, Why do you want to get rid of this man? Has he done anything wrong? Oh, no, the voter replied. He hasn't done anything wrong. But with a long sigh, he said, I'm so tired of hearing him always called the just. Aristides must have been surprised by this unreasonable answer. But nevertheless, he wrote his own name for the voter, and when the votes were counted, there were so many that he was ostracized. Now remember, with being ostracized, you have to leave for a certain amount of time before you're allowed to come back. Though it did not seem quite fair that Aristides should be ostracized, it was fortunate, as it turned out, that Themistocles had his way, and it was fortunate the Athenians went on preparing for war. They built a fleet of triremes. Remember, triremes are boats that have 3 levels of oars. The oars are what you use to move the boat. Then they got all the cities and towns in Greece to agree to join forces in case of war. Sparta, remember Sparta and the Spartans? Sparta, on account of its fame as a city of soldiers, was made the leader of all the leaders in case war should come. That seems like a pretty smart idea to me. And then, just 10 years after the Battle of Marathon, in 490 BC, the great Persian army was again ready to attack Greece. It had been brought together from all parts of the vast Persian Empire and was far bigger than the former army with its 120,000 men, although that was a large army for those days. Let's see. This time, the army is supposed to have consisted of over 2 million soldiers. 2 million. Just think of that. That's a lot of soldiers. We're talking like the number 2 with 6 zeros behind it. Yes, 6 zeros behind it. No? Yes. Yes. Okay, lost my place again. The question then was how to get so many soldiers over to Greece. Such a multitude could not be carried across to Greece in boats, for even the largest triremes only held a few hundred men, and it would have taken, well, can you tell me how many boats it would have taken to get 2 million across? Probably many more triremes than there were in the whole world at the time. Xerxes decided to have his army march to Greece, the long way, but the only way around. So they started. Now, there's a strip of water called a strait, something like a wide river right across the path the Persian army had to take. This strait was then called the Hellespont. The Hellespont. So it's like you've got this amount of water in the strait and all of that. Okay. It is, of course, still there. But if you look on the map, you will find it now called the Dardanelles. There was no bridge across the Hellespont, so it was also a mile wide. And they didn't have bridges as long as that in those days. But Xerxes, this is actually very clever, Xerxes fastened together a bunch of boats and then put planks across those boats to form a bridge. So it's like you have this area that is got water, and then he put a line of boats across that area and then had a bunch of planks so that the soldiers could walk across those. Hardly had he finished the bridge, however, when a storm arose and destroyed it. I don't know about y'all, but if that had happened, I'd been like, peace out, I'm going home.
Like,
Xerxes.
peace out, we're moving.
Yes, true. Xerxes, in anger at the waves, ordered that the waters of the Hellespont be whipped as if it were an enemy or a slave he could control. Then, what do you think he did? What do you think Xerxes did after the first one was destroyed, Lily?
He whipped the water.
Well, yes, but after he whipped the water, what do you think he did?
He whipped other people.
You're goofy. No. He built another bridge.
Dude.
And this time, the water behaved itself, and his soldiers were able to cross over safely.
Wait, Mom, I know why the first bridge actually crashed.
Why?
Because they cut it.
No, it was because of a great storm and waves that destroyed the triremes across the Hellespont. So vast was Xerxes' army that it is said to have taken 7 days and 7 nights marching continuously all the time in 2 long unbroken lines to get over to the opposite shore. Xerxes' fleet followed the army as closely as it could along the shore, and at last they reached the top of Greece. Down through the north of Greece the army came, overrunning everything before it, and it seemed as though nothing on earth could stop such numbers of men. Dun, dun, dun. So we're going to read chapter 26 next, but on a different video. Ta-ta for now. Bye.